Hello, I'm Steve. Basically what I'm going to be showing you today is what I promised I would. This is my motherboard and I'm going to fill it in there. And this is not some random computer I picked up from a pile of rubbish. This is actually my computer which the videos are edited on. So I'm going to be extra careful and I will show you how to properly put it together safely because I don't want to damage my equipment. Now, this is my motherboard. It's a Sapphire Crossfire and it's got 790 GX chipset on it. That's an AMD chipset. Now you might notice that it's got digital meter. That there's for like BIOS error codes and stuff. Apart from that, it's a good setup. Even the cooler itself, that cost 15 quid. That was a bargain, and it hasn't let me down. My triple core processor, when it's overclocked, runs at 18 degrees with that. So all we're going to do is, the best way to do it is put the bottom in first, like this. You slide it down, making sure you have no cables caught. You don't want cables caught because they could get trapped underneath the motherboard, and when you need them, you have to take the motherboard out. Now, on this case, I have a pin in the middle there, you might see there. A little golden pin right there. That there is going to line up and go through the hole. And there we go, my motherboard is now in place. Now I've got to screw it in, so there's 3, 6, 8 screws altogether on this one. Would be 9 normally, but because of the pin it saves the screw, so I only have to do 8, and it also holds it in place whilst I screw it up. I'll tell you a bit more about this board. It was bought in 2009, it was manufactured in 2008, and it's not let me down, and it still thunders on. It's been in many situations where you expect a computer to fail instantly. It's been left on whilst I've been out in major thunderstorms, connected to the internet directly to a router, which you'd expect to fry it. Nothing happened. This is what I call my lucky computer. It's lasted me, hasn't caused me any problems or issues. Obviously, you might have noticed, here is my pink RAM. Very useful, it helps look good. If you're wondering, just for details, that is 3 gig of DDR2 memory. 3 gig isn't really a lot. When I first built this computer in 2008, I had 4 gig of DDR2 RAM. Now usually, with that amount of time, you'd have expected it to go up in size. The reason it hasn't is because 1 gig got taken out to go into another computer for a friend, since his memory had failed, and I haven't upgraded because DDR2 now is stupidly expensive because it's not made no more, it's hard to get hold of. So in a few months I shall be upgrading this again, and this will be going into a different case and used for possibly a server. I'm not too sure yet. Now, if I do upgrade, obviously I will be upgrading to DDR3. Now, this is my graphics card. It's an ATI Radeon 4850 or 4850. Yes, 4850. We'll leave it at that. I'm sure it's one of them. Again, this is a good graphics card. This should be fried by now because the other day I forgot to plug the cooler fan in, and it overheated to the point where I had to take it out really fast, and these screws actually burnt me, and I don't know if you can see the marks now, but it did actually burn my skin, so that was rather painful. And this is rather easy to put in. Just line it up with the slot. If you want to come look here, it's lined in with the slot, and you just push down, it will slot in. It's as simple as that. Now, I did not notice that. I didn't notice it leaves about to come off. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. Now that's in place, I'm just going to leave that to rest, because I also have this, which is 2 USBs extra. I need them. This, obviously, this one here goes in here, and that will slot in just right there. Right, normally you would screw these in using screws, you wouldn't screw them in using nails, but there are some idiots out there on YouTube that would ask, what do you screw it in with? Now for some reason that's loose, and I don't want it to be. Now that's not loose, well, as loose. So I'm just going to push these down. I don't like these quick removal tools. They're not actually, they're not good for long-term use. They do tend to bend about. Now the USB on most motherboards get a header and there's pins here. Now these 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 are all USBs. Now this one here, although it's similar to a USB header, it's not. You'll notice that the pin that's missing at the top there, you probably can't see, is the opposite way around to the other one. Let's just get in there. You can't really see, but you'll notice anyway the header itself. See that little blank on that header? That blank there is there on the other side, so you can't physically push it in without damaging it. So gonna plug this into this one here. That one goes on like that, and you make sure that there's no pins overhanging, because if there is, when you turn the computer and plug something in, you can seriously damage the motherboard, as my father experienced, and it wasn't good. Obviously, this is another USB one. That's obviously, it's labelled USB. Now that one simply plugs in there. You plug these in whatever header you want, it doesn't matter, they're all the same, they're all USB. This one here, you'll notice the block is in a different place. Now this one is my HD audio, and this is obviously Realtek powered, because you wouldn't have anything else on a motherboard. Realtek pretty much own the market in for HD audio, apart from Creative, but I don't even know they're the same or not. Creative are generally good for sound. Now most headers, they'll have an AC97 port, which is pretty much the same but without HD. That one there, if you plugged in the HD one, that one there you just leave. As simple as. I'm not liking that. It's all secure, it's all fine. Now this here is for my memory card reader, and the front of my case, if you look there, it may look slightly out of place. That's because it is. And this is my fan control, which isn't plugged in, it's just there covering a gap. It is absolutely crap. Now I'm going to plug this in on this one here, which after this leaves me one USB header left, and that there is absolutely fine. I've got nothing to plug into it, and when I do want to upgrade something, right, I've got a spare USB header. This here, which I'm holding here, some cases will have this, some won't, and this is for this fan here. You obviously can't see the fan itself, but that is an intake that takes air into the case, and then I'll be installing this fan on the back to blow air out. I took it out because you've got to access these and the fan gets in the way, and it's really frustrating. What you want to do now is you want to plug these in. These are the power cables for the motherboard. Now most motherboards, old motherboards bear in mind, use 24 pins. No, that's 20 pins, sorry. That's 24. Most new motherboards, if your power supply doesn't have 24 pins just as that one, it can handle 20 pins and it will run without the extra 4 pins. The extra 4 pins, however, will be better off on a computer on your motherboard because it'll run better. Obviously, if it's got the room for the extra pins, there's a reason for it. And I haven't found out yet. I haven't looked into that, but it will run without it. But I plug it in because it's there, and it obviously wants to plug in. Now that's also the same with this. This is a processor connector. Most computers, you'll have that. And that there is for old Pentium systems, AMD Athlon, single core systems and dual cores. When you go beyond dual core to triple core and quad core, you will need another one. And this is to allow the processor's extra cores to get the power it needs when it needs it. You can, I'm not sure, but I think you can get adapters for this. And you ain't going to see me plug this in because it's a really tight space, but they plug in to there, right there. Now that's plugged in, this computer will fire up. It won't boot into anything though because the hard drives aren't yet plugged in. Before I plug the hard drives in, there's something else I need to plug in and set up. And that's these here. Power LED, power switch. Now these can be really annoying. I found mine simply plug in here and here. Now this isn't really important for you to see on this motherboard, because all of them are absolutely different, and some of them aren't even there, they're down here. Now you'll tell this, you can tell which headers are which, because if I give you another motherboard, show you this here. This is an older motherboard. It's an old, I think it's an Intel old motherboard. Now, not sure this one actually does, because it could be a Dell system. But usually, like that says FNT USB, that's short for front USB obviously. And then you have the front panel. Now, obviously, just about there, you'll see little tiny writings, little tiny labels, like is on there now. You won't be able to see on the camera. But there's little tiny labels, and they're labelled like PWR BTN, that's power button, you can work that out, and so on. Don't worry if you get it wrong. If you get it wrong, usually nothing major happens. You'll just either have the computer turn itself on and off constantly, or it won't turn on at all. Right, so now you know about the headers and the power leads, etc, etc. Our power button is now plugged in. Not going to do nothing because the computer is not plugged in. Now we need to plug these in. Most computers now have SATA. If you're going back quite a while, you'll have an IDE computer. I'll show you what an IDE cable looks like. I'll show you how to safely plug it in. This is an IDE cable. It's the older version, how hard drives and optical drives used to connect. Most new hard drives, that one has a dead bug on it. Most new hard drives connect through SATA, and some new optical drives like CD drives, DVD drives connect through SATA as well. They plug in to this blue one here, and there is a notch there, so you cannot get it wrong. Now let's plug the SATA in and get this all sorted. Now I've got mine tied together for efficiency. It allows air to flow through the computer. Better efficiency, it keeps it cooler. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. Is that it? Yes. Now that's done, the hard drives are now connected and should work. This computer doesn't have a CD drive. CD drives are old, they're annoying, and if I need CDs, I've got that, which is my external optical drive. As you can see, it's buried, it's hardly ever used. Now on the fan, you look for some arrows. I don't know if you can see them. Those arrows tell you what direction the fan turns, which in this case is that way, and that's going to blow air that way, and we want it going that way. And this is simple enough to do. Don't need to be a genius to work this one out. You screw it in. Now, screwing things up is really annoying, especially when you screwed enough things up as it is. You get used to it though. Just screw that one there. 1. Screw that one there. There. Screw this one here. Here. And this one over here. Screw it in there. Don't overscrew them, only screw them to the point where they want to stop turning. Don't screw them to the point where they like loosen themselves up, because it's only plastic they're screwing into, and you will round it off. So I've got my graphics card plugged in, I've got CPU plugged in, now I've just got to plug my fan in. This is another awkward job, you probably won't be able to see, but there's a little connector similar to the one on the front, you definitely can't see. Just put that one down there. Really awkward. Really awkward. I am really awkward. Really awkward. Change of plan. We take the fan on, plug it in, then screw it up. Usually I can plug it in, but it's proving a bit awkward today, and with bad light conditions, it's just awkward. There we go. Right. I'm going to put it like that. Like that. That goes there. On the header. There we go. Right, that's in the right place. Make sure that's pointing in the right direction. If your fan's pointing in the wrong direction, it won't blow your PC up, don't worry. What it will do is it will make your PC run hotter, which will shorten its life expectancy. If your PC runs stupidly hot with the fans pointing in the right direction, and you point them in the wrong direction, you could cause yourself a few problems. The worst that'll happen is you might fry your processor. Now, I've seen processors that have gotten hot enough to weld themselves to the motherboard. I've also heard of an AMD Athlon XP, which is a processor from the generation of the year 2000. No, where early 2003, 2004, the Athlon XP was about. I've heard of people who've seen one of them. They get hot enough without a cooler on them, with a little bit of cold solder on them, a little bit of metal solder on them, and he powered it on, and within 3 seconds it melted the solder to the processor and shorted it out. That heats up quicker than a soldering iron, so that's the sort of temperatures you're dealing with and why you need a cooler. You'd be an idiot not to use a cooler. In fact, even idiots use coolers, just not good ones. The worst I've seen, funny enough, is AMD's in-brand cooling system, which is a little tiny cooler. I think I got some. I think I got one around. This one. This is what AMD give you as standard. It's a little pathetic thing. Little tiny fan pointing downwards. There's not really much airflow going through it, so that there can be a problem. But there we go. Now I am gonna plug it in and show you that it works. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna kick myself in the teeth. Ignore that. It was from China. Lights up. Check the monitor. Takes a while to post. There's a lot of things it has to do before turning on. Obviously the amount of functions and features on it. Doing lots of weird things. I do have the boot screen disabled on this computer, so it'll just come up with a blank screen like this until you come to the welcome screen. I've done this because it runs a little bit faster, and yeah, a little bit faster. I'm going to switch it back on, to be honest, because it's not that much of a difference in performance. There we go. There's it halfway loaded, saying it's done something. It does take its time. I've got a lot of stuff on this computer. Come on. Right, it's doing something now. You know, the hard drive's working. There we go. And it works. I'm gonna log in. And now we know that this all works. So thanks for watching. Yes. Oh, also, do subscribe. Like our Facebook page as well if this has helped you. Facebook page is below. And the subscribe is up there somewhere. So we're surrounded by multiple things on YouTube, and if we didn't help, search again. Remember, you can contact us, let us know what you want to see and we will show you. Thanks for watching.